Hey all you meddling kids, it's your girl Pammy Chanel back with another video. Putting out a disclaimer here, I don't care if you decide to be married or have a relationship with one person, whether you decide to be in a relationship with multiple people, that's your life, it doesn't affect me, but I just want to cover the story. Now, I watched Sister Wives when it first came on back in the day, and I think I may have made it through 3 seasons before I kind of wasn't watching it religiously, every Sunday night. I wasn't tuning in to watch it, just because you could see that the seams of the marriages were already starting to come apart with the introduction of Robin. I think Robin gets a lot of heat for these marriages falling apart. But if we go back and we watch the first season, we can listen to some of the interviews that Janelle, Christine, and Mary gave, and there were already issues there. Mary was struggling with not being able to get pregnant. Janelle was struggling with being one of the breadwinners for the family, and then here's Kody bringing on another person, and then Christine was used to being the younger, last wife who at the time was Kody's favorite. And then here comes Robin. So I think Robin gets a lot of heat. And I'm not saying that she doesn't deserve some of it, because she kind of, it's something about her. But then I also have to remember that she was once married to a Jessup. And being a part of that community is totally different from this modern day polygamy environment that they're trying to have right now. And I also want to say here that when we think of sister wives, they are not the norm of polygamous marriages in Utah. Most marriages in Utah that are polygamous are underground. They don't really speak about it that much. And I think bringing it to the forefront in this situation or in this way has given people this opportunity to say, okay, well, if they're adults and they consent to it, then it should be okay. But a lot of times, especially with the FDLS, these are young girls who are put in this polygamous lifestyle. And I don't want us to lose track of that. I don't want us to think that just because Warren Jeffs is locked up, that this is not going on still, because it is. And even though Kody's family and the Green family, they're all offshoots of the FDLS. So let's not forget that. So unlike Kody, Tom was not raised in the fundamentalist branch of the Church of Latter-day Saints. He was raised just growing up as a normal Mormon. He married and had 3 children, but began to study the old preachings and especially the polygamy doctrine. And he decided that this was the life that he wanted to live, and that this was the part of his religion that he wanted to keep. And he says that people started to turn against him. He was excommunicated from the church, and his wife did leave him. I don't think his wife wanted to live a polygamous lifestyle, and I say kudos to her. So that's kind of one way where Tom and Kody differ. Another way that Kody and Tom differ is because Kody married his wives while they were all adults. And so they were all consenting adults. When I get into how the wives that Tom has are all intertwined, you'll come to find out that he had to marry one wife, his first wife, who is still considered his legal wife up to his death. But then he had to divorce her to marry his 4th wife because she was underage and she had to have permission from her parents. And then he had to divorce her in order to marry his final wife because she was underage. So Tom's first polygamous wife was Linda, followed by Linda's mother, followed by Beth's niece and Linda's cousin Shirley. Then he married Shirley's mom and Beth's sister, June. He then married June's daughter and Shirley's sister, Leanne, followed by Carrie, who was his friend's daughter, and her sister, Hannah. Talk about complicated relationships. And they did several, like I said, documentaries and stuff about their lives. And you saw them living in this barren Utah desert land with these raggedy 1980s trailers that were falling apart to pieces. And the only source of income that you hear about is them selling magazines. And believe me, I mean, I am older, so I grew up late 80s, early 90s, in that era. And I can tell you that nobody was buying magazines like that. Some people were, but it wasn't enough to bring in a good stream of, revenue for your family. So a lot of the women, which is something that Tom was charged with, were on assistance. And that brings us back to Kody. When before the sister wives phenomenon hit, they were also receiving benefits. Mary was receiving benefits. Janelle was receiving benefits. Um, Christine was receiving benefits. Robin was receiving benefits. And all of them, except for Robin, I believe, went bankrupt. Kody, Janelle, Mary, Christine, and then Robin joined the family with a lot of debt. This is the part of polygamy that no one talks about, is that one man, unless you are Nick shoot sperm off cannon, you can't afford to have 29 or 30 kids and not receive any kind of help unless you already have millions coming in. And they always are very secretive about what Kody does, and come to find out that right now he's in the gun dealing. They saw someone caught him in a gun show selling. So I'm not quite sure what he's doing, but I know he's doing something with guns arena. So, and I know that can't be bringing in that much money. Janelle also had a job, and I think Mary had a job too, but still they had to rely on support. And the majority of polygamous families do rely on government assistance. That's one of the things that I look at, and I'm like, okay, if you're going to have a polygamous relationship with these women, you should be able to all sit down and say, okay, this is how many kids we can afford. Or because it's not like you're being a single parent, because technically the man is supposedly quote unquote with you. Therefore, his income should be able to help along with your income in bringing, resources and stuff to your family. Same thing with Tom Green. He had over 30 children, and the state was providing for them because none of his women or wives worked. So both Kody and Tom wanted to bring more awareness to the polygamous lifestyle and to have it so that people could kind of see how they were living their daily lives and see that nothing was wrong with it, so that they would kind of change the laws. Now, for Green, this did not work. He made himself very noticeable. He put him and his family out there, and then people started to dig. Now, what sealed the coffin for him, and no pun intended, he ended up going and doing this Dateline interview. And Dateline also interviewed the prosecutor for his particular county. And so there was no other way to go but to prosecute Tom. And he was prosecuted for marrying teenage girls, divorcing them, which he did. Then the girls would collect the welfare payments as single mothers, which they did, while he continued living with them. And so on June 24th of 2002, he was convicted of child rape for having sex with a 13-year-old Linda, who was his legal wife, even though she refused to testify. But the documentation was already there. Linda was born in 1972. Her first son was born in 1986. It doesn't take a mathematician to figure out that she was 13 years old when her son was conceived. So he was released. Tom was released from prison on parole in August of 2007. And like I said, he just passed away last year. For Kody, he brought attention to his family. And in season 2, he tried to make it seem like the Utah police and the Utah government and stuff were after them. That was a blatant lie, because notice, I did not tell you anywhere that Tom Green was charged with being a polygamist, because he wasn't. For polygamy in Utah, especially now, you might get slapped with a fine, but that's about it. They're not going to persecute you like they did with the polygamists down in Short Creek. And if you want me to, I will do a video about Short Creek. Just let me know. So that's that smoke and mirrors that TLC and the Browns did to make it seem like, oh, they're after us. It's bringing drama to the television show. And in my opinion, it was just stupid. They wanted to move to Las Vegas for, maybe for publicity reasons. I don't know. But there was a reason they wanted to move to Vegas. That had nothing to do with being persecuted. It's just Kody and his dreams of being bigger than what he is. And I know you're thinking, for Tom, the biggest thing that he has had to mess him up by going public with his family was the fact that he ended up being convicted and having to spend those years in prison. But that's not all. He also lost 2 of his wives. And the first wife that he lost back in 2002 was his wife, Leanne. And Leanne is the circumstances around her marriage to Green is very, very iffy. Because at first, when he was her stepfather, she accused him of fondling her and SA. Then she recants her story and ends up marrying him. He divorces Linda to marry her because, of course, she was under the age of 15, I believe. So she was the first wife to leave. The second wife to leave was Hannah. And Hannah was his last wife, the youngest wife. She was the one that the girl said was, quote unquote, the body. They both have left. I'm not going to post any of their pictures of what they look like now, but I'm going to tell you, they look a whole lot happier in the marriages they are in now than they ever did when they were up there with Tom. And so that's one of the things about sharing your family like that. Outside forces start to get in, and then you see the mess that's happening with sister wives. Well, we've got Christine finally saying enough is enough, I'm leaving. You have Janelle saying that she's hitting the road, she's out. And Mary, the only fool that's still staying there is Robin. And I wonder how long Robin is going to stay, being that she wants this quote unquote polygamous lifestyle, or if they're going to bring on any other women. And I don't know any woman in America who would really want to deal with hair plug Harry, or AKA Kody Brown. I mean, I just don't see it. So let's discuss this in the comments, guys. Please keep it as PG as possible. And if you like this video, please hit that like button. And if you love the commentary that I'm doing in the videos that I'm making, please subscribe to the channel. We would love to have you here. Until next time, stay nosy and stay meddling. Bye, guys.